Where my great-grandfather's place was a stagecoach stop on the Butterfield stagecoach. And one of the stories that they told was that one day they were playing church, and I think Adeline was the preacher and Fanny was the choir. Anyway, they were singing hymns. And the stagecoach came in, and the passengers heard them, and they came and were watching them. And when the little girls realized they were watching, it scared them, and they ran and hid. But one of the passengers came and found them and said, well, if they'd come back and sing for them some more, he'd give them a nickel each. So Adeline said that was the first money that she earned. Of course, food was really scarce then, and Fayetteville was held by both armies at different times. The Confederates held it, I think, first, then the other one took it, and then finally, after the Battle of Prairie Grove, I believe, the Federals came and stayed for the duration of the war. And they were scared of them because, well, they came, for one thing, they came to their homes and took their livestock and their food, and they took the fences down to burn for firewood and ravage the countryside. But both armies did that. But the Federals were the ones that were here. And food was scarce for the residents. But the Army got plenty of rations, but they got them uncooked, so they would have to find somebody to cook them for them. And Adeline said, we were good cooks, so we always had people that wanted, soldiers that wanted us to cook for them, and then we got to eat some of the food too. So that was the way they kept from starving during the war. They lived just a block from the square, down Block Street. It's across from where the police station is. There were two houses there, the Blakely house where they lived during the Civil War, and then my granddaddy, then when the family came back to Fayetteville, he built the house on the corner. So the two were there. But anyway, she said that after the war, there was a Negro shack between their house and the square, and she had to go up to the square to get water. And so the little black kids started throwing rocks at her as she'd go by. I guess they resented her staying with the family, the white family. And so she told Miss Blakely what was happening, and Miss Blakely said, well, when they do that, you just heave back. And Adeline said, I was a good shot, and they didn't do that anymore after that. So when I was 3, almost ready to turn 4, in 1934, Mother took Adeline and me to California to visit the family that was living out there. And so we rode the train, and of course Adeline had to be in a different car than where we were. And she was motion sick all the way out. But the porters all took real good care of Adeline. And Mother, every time the train would stop, which was fairly often, Mother would get out and go back and see about Adeline. So we got to California okay, and the family got tickets for the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. And Adeline had related that when back in the early days, when the children were growing up, that they had planned to go to Fort Smith to see the circus. And Uncle Bud, Mother's twin brother, got sick, and so they couldn't go. I think he had typhoid fever. I know he had typhoid, and I think that's what it was. So they didn't get to go to the circus. So here she said, here now, all these years later, the whole family was getting to go to the circus. So they got there, and where their tickets were was a white section. And so the usher said, well, she can't sit in there. And so, of course, the family was not going to put up with that. We weren't going to send her somewhere else to sit. And so there was much maneuvering, and possibly some money crossed hands, I don't know. But anyway, finally, one of them said, well, is she a nursemaid to the baby, the little girl? And they said, yeah, she's the nursemaid. So then it was okay for her to go in with us. But, you know, they would have had it no other way. That's just really important.